So if you haven't already, please queue up your Read Next doc, and I want to share with you a couple of books. First, I'm going to have Bryn give a book talk on one of the books she read this year called When Breath Becomes Air. And I believe it's nonfiction, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Bryn, come on up and bring your book and tell us a little bit about that. So once you have your doc queued up, if you like what she's, the book that she's describing, go ahead and add it to your Read Next doc. But if you could go ahead and give your attention to Bryn, that would be great while she's presenting. So maybe swivel around if you have your back to her so you're looking at her.
Okay, this is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So this is a true story. So he was a neurosurgeon in school and he was just going to graduate, but then he was diagnosed with level stage 4 lung cancer. And this is kind of like his story, and he thinks a lot about the meaning of life because of this, because he died actually pretty young. And I'll read a short passage. I started this career in part to pursue death, to grasp it, uncloak it, and see it eye to eye, unblinking. Neurosurgery attracted me as much as its intertwining of brain and consciousness, as for its intertwining of life and death. I thought that a life spent in the space between the two would grant me not merely a stage for compassionate action, but an elevation of my own being, getting as far away from petty materialism, from self-important trivia, getting right there to the heart of the matter, to truly life and death decisions and struggles. Surely a kind of transcendence would be found there.
So why did you choose that passage?
It shows you how deep he thinks about his job, and how the reason why he chose neurosurgery was actually because he wanted to figure out the meaning of life and the difference between life and death.
And so, just summarize again, why did you like the book?
Well, I like how it's a true story. Usually I don't like true stories, they're not that interesting to me, but this is actually really interesting. Also, I'm kind of into science and medical stuff, so I liked it.
Awesome. Any questions for Bryn about the book? So if you like that book, add it to your Read Next as a possibility of something you want to read. Did you get it at the school library?
No, my mom gave it to me.
Mom, okay. Okay, well, that's a library book, but I bet you the school library has it. You can always look it up, Chuck. I want to do another quick book talk as well. So has anyone read this book, We Were Liars? Has anyone read that one? Has anyone read anything by E. Lockhart? So she's supposed to be kind of well known for young adult literature, like high school age kind of literature. And so this book is basically about these kids who go to this, they're very wealthy, and they go to this private island off of the coast of Massachusetts every summer. But it's kind of like it's just them on this island. I mean, it's very tiny. There's like 5 houses. The grandfather owns them all. And so these kids come, they're kind of cousins and friends, and then there's one other kid who comes who's not from the affluent lifestyle of everybody else. And the main narrator kind of falls in love with him, and so it's their relationship. But then some secret things happen. It's called We Were Liars, with a lot of lies involved. But it's really about relationships and kids, and what happens when you get caught in lies, and what happens when you're kind of being stuck in what society wants you to be versus what you want to be. It's I think it's really relatable, and it's a good book. So I want to read this one excerpt on page 33. So dinner conversations, so if you're interested, add that to your Read Next list. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. I'd like you to talk with your group, any titles that you're reading now that you would recommend. So tell your group, and if you like the titles, add it to Read Next. And then I'm going to give you some time to add, the goal is to add at least 3 titles to your Read Next doc right now in the next 5 minutes. Okay? Go ahead and start with conversation. Go. What are you reading now? Tell your group what you're reading now and if you recommend it. Or what you just finished recently and if you recommend it.
Okay, so I finished Looking for Alaska. So it's about this main character, Pudge, and he goes to a boarding school in Alabama. And he's originally from Florida. And it just revolves around him and his friends and his roommate. And